And this is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Here to talk about Monday Night Raw. Matt Morgan, tonight's show.
The best Monday Night Raw maybe ever. Of all time. Ever. Read my lips. The best Raw of all time. Yes, we got to watch it tonight.
I'm never deleting that episode off my DVR, ever.
True.
Incredible. It was incredible. Bell to bell, pillar to post, front end to back end. I've never seen a better professional wrestling show in my lifetime. I'm being dead serious.
I know. Amazing. We had everything. We had the Messiah and Friends mixing it up with the Mysterios. We had the Hurt Business getting into it with Apollo and Ricochet.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was so fresh. Continue. Sorry. Go.
We had legends playing poker.
Oh man!
Oh my God, that was awesome. Come on, that was awesome.
You never get to see that.
Keep going, Glenn.
We had a repeat of the exact same match we saw last night between Zelina Vega and Asuka.
I really wanted to see it, though. I
know. It was like the first time was good, but I was thinking, if I could just see this again with the exact same ending, maybe I'll get a little more out of it the next time. We had the Big Show. Oh my God, how rare is it that the Big Show comes back and graces us with his presence on Monday Night Raw?
Forget new, fresh talent being called up from NXT or from another show. Forget
No, the Big Show told Vince those guys are unsafe. He's putting himself over, and we need more of him on TV.
We do.
Guys.
We got him. We
got a new Aleister Black entrance. It's no longer the signature Rise Up entrance. He comes out of the entranceway like every other wrestler should. That's where you enter the building, is from the entranceway curtain.
Yeah, forget something unique. I mean, no, do it like everyone else.
Tonight, they did something they haven't done in quite a while. They've been taking the pulse of the fans, and they finally delivered. We got to give them the props. Go WWE. I am bowing to you and your creative team. Great job,
challenge.
Guys.
Open challenge for the title. I thought the title was going to change hands tonight. I really did.
I know.
Open challenge.
I know. I mean, when Dolph Ziggler said he had something special for the main event tonight, I was sitting on the edge of my seat.
You couldn't wait, right?
Could not wait. Not wait.
So I'm telling you, must-see TV. Raw was incredible. Outstanding.
There you have it.
No Raw Underground.
The minor complaint. Minor
complaint. I know. I wanted to be fair and balanced here. I thought we're kissing their ass a little bit too much. I wanted to just balance this out a little bit. There was no Raw Underground. So
it goes from an A++ to an A+. Sorry.
And man, if we could have just had a little more retribution. I felt like the recap was good, and I know they turned off the lights during the Hurt Business match, but T-Bar, Slapjack, Mace.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, what are they doing? What are they thinking right now? What's going through their heads?
I was wondering.
I know. So aside from that, though, classic show. F your Attitude Era. Forget everything that came with Hogan and Warrior and everything before that. Tonight, folks. Monday Night Raw, that's where it's at.
If you miss Monday Night Raw, folks, I assure you, you've literally missed the best wrestling 3 hours I have ever seen.
I mean, it was 3 hours, but it felt like 5. And I want to thank the WWE. People say time flies and goes by too fast. I think get NASA on the phone. I don't know if there's some quantum black hole magic, parallel dimension, slowage of time here, but they managed to slow down time and strangely felt like 5 hours. And I also feel like I aged 5 years. So, props to them. Night vision goggles. We had night vision goggles. We had talent. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Like, there was such a savage beatdown that Randy Orton gave to those legends, to those old, not medically cleared, feeble-boned legends that they couldn't even show it on TV. They were like, there's TVMA, and then there's this beatdown. You're just going to hear it. We're going to leave it to your imagination.
You know what? I didn't think Randy Orton was sadistic. Forget the punt to Stephanie McMahon and Triple H and others. Forget that. Tonight is where it was at. Tonight, I finally believe Randy Orton is a sadistic jerk.
It's true. And, there's a lot to be said for showing us physical aggression and violence. But I think WWE has their finger on the pulse and saying visuals, forget that. We just want to hear it.
Yes.
And envision our own theater of the mind. It's like the radio experience on TV.
Really quick,
Innovators.
Really quick. Thank you, WWE, for doing that. Sincerely. Thank you. Thank you. That was probably my favorite part of the night. What does the chat room look like right now? What does it look like?
Interesting.
Like,
So
what is Morgan smoking? What are these guys? Is it like that?
it's nice that Bobby Roode's back.
That's what it says in the comment section.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's just my underline. I don't know. Oh, man.
So folks, in case you don't have a good sarcasm meter, that's with sarcasm. Because before the show started, I looked at both of them, and they both looked right back and like, ugh. Not only do we have to watch that, but we have to now cover it.
Raj Giri watched Monday Night Raw tonight. He is not on this podcast tonight, but said, you know what? Forget the podcast, the easy part, hanging out with my friends, shooting the shit, cracking wise, and making money from the super chats. Forget that. I'm going to do 3 hours of penance watching this show live with commercials.
Which I don't get it. Raj, if you're watching, you had the opportunity to not watch. What are you doing? What are you doing? I would have been in my son's bedroom with him, laying down, watching cartoons, something, anything but watching that show.
But it's weird though, right? So they got the competition from football. Now, one could say by bringing on the legends, by teasing the open challenge, they're trying to compete, but that maybe accounts for 20 minutes of a 3-hour show. The rest of, I like some of the stuff tonight, but this didn't feel like they were trying to compete with Monday Night Football.
Well, so they had.
Good.
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say they had a huge Monday Night Football game, yes, to compete against. They also had the Stanley Cup winner was crowned just about 10 minutes or 20 minutes ago for hockey. Okay. I will say this. Here's the one thing I'll say. They obviously WWE they were at a disadvantage. There is a lot of talents noticeably being referred to as not medically cleared, not there because they are, they're being taken off for precautions of COVID. So you could tell they were working with a deck that was not full.
Listen to me. They give a roster full of Hulk Hogan in his prime, a roster full of The Rock in his prime, a roster of Stone Cold in his prime. Doesn't matter. This roster isn't shitty. These shows aren't bad because the roster sucks or is limited. The show sucks because of how it's being scripted and written. There is a major drop-off now. It's clear as day between SmackDown and Raw. SmackDown's a joy to watch. I like watching SmackDown. And you can argue because of the Roman storyline, which I love. The Bayley storyline, which I love. I think everybody does. But on Raw, it's tough, man. It's tough to sink your teeth into it. And I like the Hurt Business. That's an act on the show I like, obviously. But it's tough, man. It is tough. Retribution, are you shitting me? Come on.
Yeah, and again, we say all the time, SmackDown's enjoyable, NXT's enjoyable, 2 hours. The third hour, having that extra hour is just,
even if you give them 2 hours, I would argue it's still a poorly written show. It's noticeably different to me.
Andrew Brown, thank you for the $2.99 super chat. Jackson Callens, $4.99, saying here's some money for amazing sarcasm. Just a little bit. What's that?
And I guarantee there's some people that didn't get the sarcasm.
That's true. And probably that turned off the podcast. They were like, WWE fanboy kiss ass. Not going to listen to that tonight. Justin Lopez, $5, saying, let me burst y'all's bubble and say this Raw made me wish the football game wasn't a blowout. LMAO. What else we got? Neo Akira, $5, saying the week must be good at Wrestling Inc. I should have had a beer tonight or something. Just to make it go by. Brett Murphy, $2. Glenn, don't talk Raw. Only John Silver. That's it.
Don't talk Raw. Okay, I'm with Brett Murphy on that.
When Wrestling Inc. gets to interview John Silver, Matt, you're going to have to say, Nick Hausman, Justin LaBar, move over. Matt's going to make time in his schedule. And it's going to be like the Chris Farley show. When Matt going, hey, remember that time I'm being the elite when you did that thing? That was really cool, huh? Yes. Dustin Eck, $5. LMFAO. Can't tell if you guys are faking it or not. You guys seriously think Raw was good from top to bottom? You be the judge.
Dustin Eck getting worked.
Chrono Shop, $5, saying being the elite better than Raw. Dark Order singing Cody's theme. Eddie's promo makes me want to buy some Sour Patch Kids now. And John Silver, we want being John Silver's show. So
I love everything Chrono Shaw just said, by the way. And only BTE fans will know anything he's talking about.
Yes, Chronoshaw adding with a $2 super chat. P.S. Chris Daniels promo on being the elite got me in the feels.
It was good, actually. You guys should go see it.
Yes.
He's right.
So let's jump into tonight's show.
Yep. Let's go.
Okay, so we open with Ric Flair, Big Show, Christian, Shawn Michaels talking about what happened last night. Really, them there to put Drew McIntyre over in his win in the ambulance match against Randy Orton last night, and then Drew putting them over. It was interesting. I actually was a little taken aback how much they made it seem like Drew was their peer. Like, he didn't seem as much like a kid.
No,
I think that worked.
That was incredibly important. You don't get an opportunity very often to have your talents of today's day and age to share a ring with legends like that and have them look the part. They always look lesser than, always. And a lot of that could be argued because they're not as big as they used to be physically and whatever. But it's not just because he's big. He gives off a vibe that he's a superstar as well. I thought this worked. This was a home run, in my opinion, for what they were trying to get out of this, which was give him that rub.
Yeah, there was a rub there. The way that he was speaking, like he had inside jokes, he had inside stories with all of them, stories from the road, and like he had this little banter with all of them. So yeah, it made him. It came off that he's on their level. He's a guy. He's a guy that travels with them, that partied with them, that did the road with them, and yeah, that comes off to the audience of like, okay, this Drew McIntyre guy, like, you know, Ric Flair, like, hangs out with him. Shawn Mike, like it did it. You know,
that's what a rub is.
Yeah.
Thanks for
John,
paying attention, Glenn.
I was looking at the super chat, Matt. I'm looking at the chat room, keeping it breast. John Cena's bald spot, Matt. Your favorite commenter with $10. Saying back after a quick battle with Bosley, that beatdown at the end made Orton look weak and corny. Should have hunted them down one by one through the night and punted them all again like a predator would.
What are you gonna say, Justin?
I'm actually going to say this. I know we were being a little sarcastic. When we get to the ending, I will say, for those who didn't watch the show, I actually think the way they did Randy at the ending, we'll break it down when we get there. There was a certain appeal to it, given that you are dealing with the four who you're dealing with. The Night Vision, it had like a creepy serial killer vibe to it, honestly. And I we'll get to it. I don't want to like spoil the ending.
Well,
but
spoil the ending.
Well, I mean, like, I know we're gonna get. We actually have to talk about it later in the podcast. I'll wait till we get to it.
But I agree with you that it had that sinister feel, but the payoff was like Looney Tunes. I mean, like, okay, think of what he did to Bray Wyatt. Shit, I thought he was gonna lock the door and like set him on fire or something, or like roll a grenade in there, or do something a little more. I thought like put laxative in their beer or something like that. I mean, something more sinister than what we got with like bang pow. Like, sound effects.
But I think when you look at it from the aspect of, had they kept the lights on, then it would have looked very weak. Because obviously you have Rick, who you can't do a lot with. So I think the fact that when you have I'm putting night vision goggles on, so only I can see what's going to happen.
But all the others could have easily taken that.
Yeah, but when you have Rick in there, I don't know. There is a certain like it's the Jaws mentality we've talked about before. It's the using your imagination of what is he actually doing to them with the lights out versus seeing it and it looking corny. When you can't see it and it's just sinister, you can kind of use your own imagination. So I mean, I don't know.
Well, here's my imagination. It sucked. That's what I'm using my imagination for. It sucked.
Yeah, it was just and the sound effects sounded corny. Like, we didn't get better reactions. It just seemed, I don't know, very
I get why you couldn't show it. I fully understand.
Sure.
I'm not stupid, but then don't go there. If that's something, don't go there then.
Let me put it this way, Justin, to your point. I felt like that was an A+ build up to it, because it did feel like he was gonna do some sick, demented shit in that room. And the payoff was like a C. Like,
okay. Yeah, I looked at it and actually, and we'll get to it later, they actually foreshadowed that Randy was. They foreshadowed that there was a rogue janitor. So yeah, so when I'm
janitor.
So when I'm watching him go to the door, take the stuff.
Do you hear yourself? Do you hear yourself?
They foreshadowed it. We'll get to it.
Wait a second.
Him putting night vision goggles. I was like, all right, this is something new. I have not seen this on wrestling before.
Okay, wait. Let me just say something here.
I've seen on wrestling before. Doesn't mean we need to see it. Sorry, go ahead.
Given the issues WWE has with COVID, it really says something when the janitor, when he's alone by himself, has the mask on, and right before he goes into a room full of people, including one quite aged individual in a high-risk group, takes his mask down and goes into the room to be around people. That says everything you need to know about why WWE has their COVID problem.
Selfish. That's a selfish individual, not thinking about others.
Exactly.
Hashtag rogue janitor. He's right up there with Carl, the janitor in the Breakfast Club.
I thought you were gonna say who's the guy that spies on everybody? What was his name? The creeper? What were we calling him?
Oh,
the hacker. The hacker.
Hacker.
Oh, the hacker.
Yeah.
I want to see Randy Orton as the hacker, but he sits there and types everything with like one finger. You know? So Raw Women's title match tonight, rematch, baby. Zelina Vega getting another shot at Asuka's Raw Women's Championship. What did she do to deserve that rematch? Who cares?
We don't
care.
Justin, take it away.
Wouldn't be a Raw after a pay-per-view if there wasn't a rematch from what you just saw the night before that you had to pay for.
What'd you think of it, though?
It was okay. Again, I like seeing Zelina perform in the ring. I think she's got a lot of athletic potential.
Dude, she's a cruiserweight. She wrestles like a male cruiserweight. When she was at TNA, go back and watch her stuff at TNA. I loved working with her. I worked mixed tags with her.
But
Hernandez and them.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm happy to see that she's not just going to be a valet and that they're actually going to utilize her. But I mean, she's got 2 losses in 2 nights. Tonight she didn't they didn't book her to look anything impressive.
They didn't. So. She still gets street cred, in my opinion, a little bit because it's Asuka. I hope fans look at it that way and don't just immediately bury her as a talent.
I hope, too. I hope that too.
You know, because she does offer something different than the rest of those women offer. If they just let her do her thing, I'm telling you guys, she can do some sick stuff athletically, and it's like watching Rey Mysterio, but in female form. I'm telling you, she's athletic as crap. If they get her to start doing that stuff,
no, I agree. I think, but that's kind of the argument, though. It's the same thing with Bobby Roode tonight, though. They say, well, just getting to go rounds with the champ builds you, but I don't know. At a certain point, they have to do something to make it a little, give you something, some sort of win, some sort of advantage. I don't know. Oh, wow. A couple super chats just came in. People tossing money in Raj Giri's bank account, direct deposit.
And slowing the show down. Go ahead.
Clyde, in a currency, I don't even know what that is, ZAR 35.
Who cares? Go ahead.
Whatever. The Baskin's Glory part of Keith Lee's theme isn't even in the same key as his new entrance music, and that pisses me off every time.
Way to redeem yourself, Clyde. I agree.
I doubt they have even someone with a trained ear doing the music currently. Terry Allen Jr., $2.17, saying, Justin, views of yesterday's show.
Hell no. We're not going off on a dissertation on the pay-per-view. Go on his Twitter and ask him. No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
Real quick, I'll say there was, I thought the ladder match in both world title matches, good stories told, very violent. That ladder match was one of the better ladder matches I've seen WWE do in a long time. So I enjoyed a decent part of Clash, actually.
We gave it a good rating.
We did. And let me just tell you for a second, that's the difference between Raj Giri's work ethic and Matt Morgan's. That Matt, rather than just be like, yeah, Justin, tell us your views. I'm just going to sit back, eat a snack, forget me having to talk or do the work. No, Matt's like, Justin, no, let me talk more. Matt's all about running that ball.
Sure. That's what was meant by that. Yes.
Yes. Bigfoot Sneakerhead 499 said, I think it's time for Mr. McMahon to give it up to Triple H. They treat call-ups like trash.
Yes.
I wish Keith Lee would have said no and stayed in NXT.
Yes, and yes, sir. Good comment.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about this match. Hey, first, just want to give some quick love to the sponsor of this episode.
Sorry.
We've talked about 2 big segments, Mr. Matt.
All right. I'll shut up.
2 big segments. Hey, Justin.
Yo.
How's your personal grooming game going?
I mean, pretty good because my wedding anniversary was in the past week, so I had to be on tip-top shape.
Hey,
oh, there you go. Justin's got his Manscaped on point. And fellas, 2020 has made it hard for us to stay as hygienic as we should be. Luckily, our partners at Manscaped, well, Why? Because we're all staying at home first and foremost. And what happens when you're staying at home? You start thinking, I'm just zooming into this call. Yeah, I don't got to put on pants. I'm not wearing pants right now. I haven't worn pants on this podcast for the better part of 2020. Why? Because, I'm not leaving the house. We're in a pantsless society.
Wait, you're not wearing pants right now?
Folks,
why would I
you
wear
have
pants?
all just heard that. Yes. Don't check your ears. We all just heard that. Continue.
That's what I'm saying. So what happens then? It's like we think you just got to take care of what you're seeing on the Zoom, what you're seeing on the webcam. But Justin, with your anniversary, it's time to bust out Manscaped. Time to get it in gear.
Man,
it's
dude,
time to say, honey, I haven't stopped trying. I'm still putting in the effort all these years later.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I like that.
Think about that. I mean, think about this. Guys, we were all much younger men when we started dating our wives. Think about the time you used to put in on your hair, doing your hair. Justin, think about the hair you used to have when you started dating your wife. And you put in time there and you put in time down below because you were trying to impress people. You said, I don't know if this is going to happen tonight. And if it does, I want to leave a good impression. You get married. It all starts going to hell. And this year, even worse than normal, Manscaped, however, is on a mission to change the grooming game with their below-the-waist grooming and hygiene products. And they just released their products in the UK, Canada, and Australia. You know what that means, folks. Manscaped now ships to Australia, which means you could take care of your down under. Mic drop.
Way too easy. That's no mic drop. Pick it back up. That's too easy. That's a layup. Thank you.
That's not in the copy, by the way. I'm going to send that to them and say, why is that not in the copy? I do this for a living. Their Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer offers a replaceable ceramic blade with that advanced skin-safe technology. Helps reduce grooming accidents. Oh my God, Justin, could you imagine if you do some bootleg Walmart clippers to trim your package before your anniversary? You got Band-Aids all over there.
Look,
You'd be like, honey, let's just cuddle.
It's been, yeah, exactly. Last thing I need is on 7 years of marriage is do I need to get color and then screw the whole thing up and then that would have been terrible.
Babe, what's all this Neosporin all over your thing?
Manscaped helps you avoid those accidents. Don't get color down below. Manscaped's waterproof technology also allows you to groom in the shower and for up to 90 minutes. So important. The worst, when you use these cheap rechargeable things that are not Manscaped, you get grooming going on and then the battery dies and you're walking around with a half merkin. Nobody wants that. So Manscaped, 90 minutes. They also just released their Shears 2.0 nail kit, which is the perfect add-on to their Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer, and the perfect package comes with 2 free gifts and other liquid formulations to complete your grooming routine. All the formulations are vegan, cruelty-free, dye-free, sulfate-free, paraben-free, so your disco stick, that's in the copy, is in good hands. And Matt Morgan revealed the other week. Disco stick. Just
yikes.
Roll with that. Matt Morgan revealed he keeps his Manscaped formulations in the car just to sort of freshen up throughout the day. So
I really do. It's not a work.
Oh, and they got foot duster foot deodorant, which is so good it can even reduce the odor of the dirtiest feet. Guys, get on that. Your feet stink, and your partner is just not telling you because they're polite. So here's what we want you to do. Go to manscaped.com and use our offer code, INC. And you're going to save 20% and get free shipping at manscaped.com, but only when you use our code, INC. Give it a try. Pick up some stuff. The boxer briefs are amazing. This Lawnmower 3.0 is fantastic. Love the Shears kit. Love that foot powder, the foot duster. Go to manscaped.com, 20% off with our code and free shipping, INC. We thank Manscaped for sponsoring the Wrestling Inc. podcast.
Really quick, I know it's not fair to do this, but I'll do it because I never read the copies or the advertisements and stuff. Out of all the, and it's not fair to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. And no offense to the other companies, but out of all the sponsors, this product that at least I've been sent is by far and away the most functional. It does more than what it says it does. It's never going to fail you. It's never going to clip you. It's never going to leave scars. It's never going to scratch you. It's never going to leave nicks and razor burn. Even to not have razor burn, that's next to impossible. As a guy's been shaving his body for frigging 20 years now, it's impossible. And yet this one, you'll never get it. It's insane. And I'll also remind the fans at home, you can also get their, I know it's gross, but nose hair trimmer. It works incredibly well. Use it for your ears, use it for your nose, and it works, like I said, really, really well.
Absolutely. The people at Magic Spoon crushed to learn that Matt Morgan doesn't dab a little crushed up Magic Spoon behind his ears throughout the day just to get that fruity scent.
Come on.
You know, if you really think about it, if you watch this podcast,
I do like my
we really do set you up for your routine. We give you the Manscaped tips to make sure you're groomed properly,
right.
the Blue Chew to make sure that you can show off and perform in your groomed state, and then we give you breakfast the next morning. Come on now.
That's a one-stop shop. That's a date I want to go on. Yes,
Right.
I agree.
Absolutely. Bobby Burns, $1.99, saying, "Here's your show slowdown for you, Morgan." Okay, so Thomas Stinson, $4.99, saying, "I'm so mad that the Hurt Business lost tonight. They're the best faction in WWE right now, and they lose to that team. Just sad booking."
I agree. Good call, Thomas.
David Schneck, $5, saying, "Just want to say that I love the podcast. Don't catch many live, but rarely miss a show. P.S. Today is my 42nd birthday. Happy birthday to David Schneck."
Happy birthday, David Shanek or Shanek. Good job. Thanks for letting us know, and thanks for listening to the show and watching it. Sincerely, thank you, brother.
It's amazing to me when we have people that show up in the chat room for the first time. I mean, I love our chat crew. It's fantastic. We have the best fans. Some nights over 1,000 people watching live and participating in chat.
The funniest too. And no offense to like Bruce Pritchard and them, there's podcasts and crap like that. I guarantee you, if they had a chat room, maybe they do. It's not as funny as ours. No way. No way.
Wolfbane, $3, saying, "Manscaped 316 says the boys are happy."
There you go. There you go.
Jason Smith, $5, saying, "Randy leaves, back camera shot, legend killer. Don't forget hoodie. McIntyre wins, finds legends laid out. Hoodie left in the room off air."
Okay. I'll make the note, Jason.
So back to the show. Andrade was dressing down Zelina Vega after her loss to Asuka. That was an interesting way to overlap it, because then we hit with Keith Lee's music happening, Keith Lee coming out and beating up Andrade in a match, winning the match. So what do you think about the fact that Keith Lee was mixing it up with Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton, and now he's in a feud with Andrade?
So this is the problem when you start somebody at the top right away. They have no place to go but down. And no offense, when they had him at the top, he wasn't winning. This is why you don't – if you don't have a surefire structured plan in place, I mean a 6-month plan for one of your bigger beasts that – I'm sorry, it's hard to come by. You're not going to find another Keith Lee growing on a tree somewhere in developmental around the indie scene. He literally is 1 in a million. So he's like that Brock Lesnar call-up. You take very good care of how you book him, and you give him the jobbers for the first 4 weeks. Make him look like a just monster that he is, right? And then you start giving him who he wrestled tonight. And then you move your way up. You crescendo till you get to the Drew McIntyres and Randy Orton, to we're all salivating. The mainstream WWE audience, not just those that watch NXT and know him, but the little 6-year-old that doesn't watch any NXT, all right, are salivating at the mouth to want to see this guy mix it up with a Randy Orton and these headline acts at a WrestleMania over the year's span.
Yeah, because of the way that it's been already on Raw, he comes off as the guy who just can't quite cut it with the top of the card, and that's terrible. So, and I'll say
for it. There's no excuse for it.
Right. And I'll say this, I was a little surprised to see him tonight. I know that a lot of people were maybe saying that maybe he answers Drew's Open Challenge because, as we'll talk about at some point, Mia Yim and some of the other Retribution people are not on because they're in quarantine because of precaution. And with Keith Lee and her being in a relationship, I didn't know if they would allow him to be there.
Good question.
So I don't know. That was a little
Nightmare Need $2 super chat says Keith Lee can be scary. Can be, he is, and they're finding a way to make him unscary. They need to stop.
They need to, at Hell in a Cell, put him in a match and redo that launch spot that he did with Adam Cole.
So I just want to take a second here with Keith Lee again. Everybody here that watches our podcast generally watches NXT, I hope. And so if you watch the metamorphosis of him getting better, it's not in the ring. In the ring, he's always been a dynamo. He's always been a stud, especially athletically, very gifted. But on the promos, what did I used to tell you guys? I used to say that he doesn't talk. Vince is going to have a problem with the fact that he doesn't talk like he looks. Same thing Vince used to have with me, and other big guys for that matter. And so other than having him stutter, they have him, no, I'm joking. They have him doing this. No, but if you notice, his promos were getting better at NXT. He started to talk with more feeling, and when we were starting to get pissed off Keith Lee on the microphone, finally. And pissed off Keith Lee on the microphone is what the Nightmare Knee said earlier. That's scary. And
Yeah.
he was still developing, is my point, though. As good as
Yeah.
he is, that's the scary part of Keith Lee. He was still improving. You give him his time. Let him continue to improve. And then have your 6 month to a year plan laid out for him when you bring him to TV. This is just, no offense, WWE. You don't have it that great. Where, again, there's some next backup to Keith Lee that's just growing on a tree somewhere in your NXT and other places that you can just, oops, we missed it with Keith Lee. We'll get it next time. This is a once in a lifetime type of performer, in my opinion. I mean, dead serious. And he was still developing into that, and they rushed him. They shouldn't have rushed him.
The new music, the changing gear, him coming out cutting promos like an Old Spice commercial, practically saying indubitably.
Imagine that. But imagine that, Glenn. You're still figuring out who the hell you are. It happened to me. I've never been nothing but a babyface in Ohio Valley Wrestling for the year or so I was down there. What did they do? They called me up to be a heel. I had no experience whatsoever as a heel. I never even did heat drills in wrestling practice on opponents. I had no clue. So that's not what you do.
No,
you bring them along slowly until they're ready.
It's the same thing. The powers that be. I remember the best piece of advice when I was in a band that our lawyer ever gave us about listening to record labels and the powers that be is reminding you that they get to work on hundreds of careers. You've only got one. And if you go with their bad decision and listen to them, it's you. And that's your only shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a great reference, Glenn, because you have NXT, which is a different situation, it is an apples and oranges in some ways to Raw and SmackDown. And so if you're a Vince McMahon, you see Keith Lee getting over and looking great in the NXT environment, and it's like, grab him right now. I want him on Raw and SmackDown. And if you don't have a plan, like Matt was discussing, it's just so it's so cavalier, it's so reckless.
Reckless, great word, and just counterproductive.
And look at this tonight. I mean, yes, granted, you have former NXT champs and former NXT talent like Drew and Seth Rollins, but then Andrade, former champion, Keith, former champion, Bobby Roode, former champion. It's just like this graveyard of missed opportunities.
And that's sad because every one of them, in a way, in their own, could be a main event talent, including Bobby Roode, I will still argue.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was tonight. I'm going to say this because we were talking about nicknames the other night and Corey Springer wanting a shout out and call me GLENtribution. I'm like, that's a solid B+.
Okay, Corey Springer. That was pretty good.
Let's see. What else do we got? I think you've talked about this before. Raffman asking what was it like working with Chris Benoit, Matt?
Intense as bleep. Like, he's the only opponent I've ever been in the ring with who, in the middle of chopping, was like, what the hell's that? Harder! What the? I didn't come all the way down here to Ohio Valley Wrestling on my birthday for this crap. Come on! Like, in the middle of the heat. That was supposed to be getting on him. Even the babyface is the world heavyweight champion. He just won the WWE title at WrestleMania 20, I believe. And he came down to OVW, which I just got sent back down to. And that was my first opponent down there.
Oh, wow.
Six Flags Summer, basically their pay-per-view events for OVW. And I remember being like so embarrassed, but it was a good lesson. I never made that mistake again, not to lay shit in when opponents give you their body like that. Bob Holly was like that too. They wanted you to lay it in or they'd be pissed.
Chris Pantaleo, Buck99, pointing out Retribution member Manscaped. Be a good name for a Retribution member.
How would we know? How would we know they're Manscaped?
Oh, that's true. Well,
that was terrible.
If Vince could figure out how to get that on TV, I'm sure he would. I'm sure Vince would find that hilarious. Tyrone Dawkins, $5, saying, haven't watched a live WWE show since Mania, but I never missed the podcast. Then I decided if I'm going to go and watch it. Heel Roman is about to bring me back, though.
Okay, now you're talking Tyrone Dawkins. I agree. I am loving heel Roman. I've watched his match 3 times from the pay-per-view. 3. Fell asleep to it.
And the dialogue he had with Jey Uso added so much.
So much. It was so good.
It was like the dialogue you'd get if they were in a cinematic match, but they were in a traditional pro wrestling match, and it just added so much.
Would have been cooler, though. I'm sorry.
If what?
Oh, if it was at a family reunion, cinematic match. I mean,
at a barbecue.
Yeah.
Or
absolutely.
Kahlua pig is a big part where they put Kahlua pig underneath the ground is how they cook it, and it's a big deal. And it's just like, let's just say any one of our barbecues per se, but it's in their culture. Something like that would be so different, and cinematically, and I think you're onto something. That would be fun. That would be dope. That really would, because you'd also get the cameos, which I'd mark out for like Kishi and like the other, you know, that would be cool.
No,
Bigfoot. Talk about cooking the pig. That's like a luau, right? Cooking the pig.
Kahlua pig is usually the feature of it, yeah. But they do it in their backyards. Different cultures do it right in their backyard. Like we have just a normal barbecue. They'll do that, and it's so good. Oh my god, it's so good.
Bigfoot Sneakerhead $4.99 saying you should give the people what they want, like Bobby Lashley versus Brock. They should have Brock cost Bobby the Royal Rumble and set that up for Mania.
Okay, I'm in. Right there is a better writer than what they've got right now. For just saying that 2 sentences.
Kenny the Cringe Omega $4 saying news for Matt. I read Vince wanted Roman to never be heel. Well,
I'm with him on the part.
Yes.
I like your name, by the way. I love your name, by the way.
I think this is a compliment. Just Cruise $4.99 saying Matt Morgan is essentially the real life Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy. P.S. Congratulations on 14 years plus sobriety. You're an idol.
Idol. Thank you so much, Just Cruise. I appreciate that. Seriously, that never gets old. Thank you.
I was wondering about that though. That Matt the other day because I was actually thinking about Drax specifically. Because Batista wasn't a shoe-in, you have to think when they're looking for guys for that body type, you're probably on a pretty short list of people with. I mean, you had more acting experience than Batista did at the time.
But my stuff is pulled. I'm not seeking parts, and I don't have my agent anymore.
Yeah. Nightmare Knee $5 saying I meant they could truly take that Brock spot with no problem. The power, the athleticism, and the charisma. He's next level, and they nerf him.
I agree. He's not wrong.
Jason Smith, interesting theory, but this can't be true. Saying no good bookings or storylines till the crowds come back. Maybe. I mean, TV is their biggest moneymaker.
Yeah, and you could, and to be fair, Sasha versus Bailey is a good storyline. You know what I mean? Roman versus his cousin, that's a good storyline. You know what I mean? I don't think they're saving it for TV. I was wondering if they should with some of the bigger money matchups, like you say, Brock versus Bobby, let's say. But I'm sorry, we're past that ship sailed a couple months ago, where they realized I think they've got to start putting together better matches.
And the other side of the coin is, while we all miss having real reactions, fans there, in a way for WWE, especially when you talk about like Roman, who's doing this heel thing, when you don't have the live reactions, you can control the narrative. You don't have fans who are bucking against the system. Who are now,
which I think helped Bailey out immensely. She's taking great advantage of it, and now she's super over as a super heel.
And you can apply that to not just Bailey, but a lot of different things they're doing. So the fact you don't have fans that are trying to,
sabotage,
hijack the shows, trying to go against the grain, whatever, you get to control it a little bit more. Okay. So.
Tyler $4.99 saying Christian's a huge Lightning fan. They won the cup. Every time they showed him on screen, he looked pissed. # tighten up Justin.
What the hell does that mean? Tighten up.
I don't know. I just read
is funny
these
because Jay is from Canada. And he's only lived in Tampa for X amount of years. I find that interesting that he's fully jumped in on the Tampa Bay professional hockey team.
A Canadian who's traded in his Canadian hockey team for an American hockey team should be.
That's what I'm saying. That's you said it for me. Thank you.
Okay. And then Francesca Teixeira $4.99 super chat saying first super chat, but longtime fan of the show. Been watching for years. Thank you for the weekly entertainment, fellas. Thank you, Francesca.
Thank you,
Francesca. Did you like Glenn's body language as he read that? He was very flabbergasted and happy with your comment.
I want longtime listener, first time caller. Yes. Or some variation of that.
I get it.
That's why I got into this business, man, just to hear that at the start of every call. And then I'll take my answer on the air, off the line.
So back to the show.
So, Matt, good thing we got back to the show because we saw how Akira Tozawa was eaten by a shark last week.
I'm so happy we got to see it again. I was so excited.
Our truth backstage, Ninja delivering a letter in Japanese and English.
Awesome?
From Akira. I did find it funny that it was like, if you're reading this, I've been eaten by a shark.
It was like Back to the Future 2, where it's like, Marty, if you're reading this, I was I was electrocuted by the lightning and sent back to 1885.
Clock Tower.
Yes. The UH next week, the new Blu-ray, the 4K restoration of Back to the Future comes out. Can't wait.
Ooh.
So, anyhow, the ninja ended up being Gulak, Tozawa attacked, Gulak attacked. We sent out triple threat for later tonight for the 24/7 championship. And then, oh, Matt, thank God we stopped talking about the super chats, because let's talk about Jerry Lawler in the King's Court, talking about how Seth Rollins and what's going on with him and Murphy and the Mysterios, and Rollins saying, oh, forget paternity. Aaliyah might not be telling you something. I'm going to show you the texts between Aaliyah and Murphy. Weird that they keep harping on her age. Just an aside. But
it is.
Yeah. But so I don't know. Like Aaliyah's maybe got it going on with Murphy. Like this again, Vince McMahon has never actually seen a soap opera. This is what he thinks a soap opera is.
I don't know what he thinks this is, but it's terrible, and it makes people. I think it makes others feel uncomfortable too. Glenn, me and you, I bet you Justin too. The fact they keep bringing up her age, it makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, she's 19, Buddy's early 30s.
But they're going overboard with it. It's like, I don't know what they want me to think.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, hey, two consenting adults, whatever.
What is it I'm missing? I don't know.
Well, like this came off as if this was like in the past week or in the past like month when Vince signed off on the storyline of involving her in this. Like, actually, this storyline, mind you, real quick, is very similar to Stephanie being inserted with Triple H, and then we find out that Stephanie's in it with Triple H. The whole, if you go back to that day of 19 years ago, this is very similar. But this felt like Vince just learned recently what the term sliding into the DMs means, and he felt so compelled to utilize it. And it's like, like she and the messages are showing. She said happy birthday, and like Ray and Dominic act like she just sent like a nude picture or something like that. I don't know. This is just weird. The whole thing is weird. It doesn't make sense.
I almost want to reenact the text messages. Matt, you're on your phone. All right, so we could do a little bit of theater here, reenacting these text messages between the two. This is nothing. This is like so silly. But you're right, Justin. They're treating it like this is a smoking gun. This is a big revelation. And I think the thing is saying that there was an offer here saying, I might take you up on that offer. So Murphy made a mysterious offer to her. She might take him up on it.
It was to train her in professional wrestling. I'll bet you that's what the outcome is.
Yes. And she's going to join the Messiah and Murphy.
Yep. You heard it here. You heard it here, folks.
Glenn, did you see on social media? So, Buddy Murphy and Alexa Bliss used to date. They no longer date. Alexa Bliss actually tweeted, or WWE tweeted the screenshot of the messages. And then Alexa Bliss retweeted that and said, I can't blame you. # take your best shot, buddy.
I don't get it.
Well, it's Alexa Bliss, the ex-girlfriend of Buddy Murphy, saying like she's like endorsing, I guess, saying like kind of putting over Aaliyah, saying, oh yeah, buddy, I don't blame you. Take your best shot.
It would have been funnier if she was like, don't fall for it. He offers to train everyone.
Yeah.
Shoot your best shot, buddy.
I mean, whatever. But I think that's the thing. But with the age thing, Matt, it's like, is Vince aware that 19 is a legal adult, free to make their own decisions?
I don't know. I mean, what's next? You know, the storyline, like, and she's 26 and he's 41. Can you believe this? Like, seriously. I don't know. My point is, I don't know what they want me to think.
Well, but to that point, though, and what Justin said about Murphy's age, they're not saying what Murphy's age is. So I don't think they intend their age difference to be a factor in the story. I think that's something that people are commenting on.
So why do they keep saying her age? I still don't get it.
Yeah, and well, because they're trying to
drive something home. Well, they Ray's little daughter still, right?
Right. They keep saying her age because, and as we'll get to in a minute here with Dominic, they keep saying, like Ray and Dominic keep saying, "Oh, you're 19. You're so naive. You don't know about the world." But yeah, they're not saying Buddy's age. In Vince's mind, oh, Buddy's only been on Raw for half a year. He must only be 21 years old.
Well. P.S. Dominic himself is still a kid. Like
he's Dominic, like 21. Yeah,
should not be. Yeah.
Yeah, Dominic's saying you're so naive, and Dominic's been around. He's been older. He's 2 years older than her.
Like, really, Dominic, you got worked into wrestling matches to protect our dad. So, yeah.
Okay, maybe this is interesting there. Tuckgraph is saying they want to remind you she's not 16 over and over. Maybe what they're saying is it's like it could come across as creepy if they didn't find a way to state like, no, she's 19 years old. This isn't weird. I know this seems really weird. Why is she involved in this angle with her family?
I get it.
Maybe it's a little like reverse
Maybe he's
psychology.
Right. Maybe that's what it is then. Okay.
But the fact that we're even talking about this, like, I hate that this is part of my Monday night.
And we're spending too much time on it.
I would rather watch a random soap opera.
I'd rather watch the blank TV screen.
I've never seen a Real Housewives show. I would rather sit through that than more of these.
You're missing out. You're missing
Really?
out.
I don't believe you've never seen that, Glenn.
I've never have.
Glenn,
you got to watch Real Housewives of Jersey. We watch them all. It's good junk food TV.
I've never seen The Bachelor. I've never seen.
See, Glenn, your range is so wide. I figured you definitely would have seen.
Ironically, I used to be a hardcore Apprentice fan back in the day.
How about Jersey Shore back in the day? Did you watch Jersey Shore?
No Jersey Shore.
What?
I was hooked to that.
Me too.
OG Real World was my jam, though, for the first like 4 seasons. The Real World was like my show. And then the Mrs. season, of course.
My wife and I 10 years ago had just started dating, and that was like a little bit of a bonding thing. Is we would like guilty pleasure watch Jersey Shore on Thursdays and like just make fun of it and laugh at it and have fun.
Wait, time out. When you guys first started dating, you said?
10 years ago, yeah.
Holy crap. That's how long ago Jersey Shore was on?
We're old, Matt.
Wow. I just feel really old.
Matt, think of Impact. Think about when
they were there. In my head, it's not 10 years ago. In my head, it's like 4 years ago.
Think about the Snooki, Robbie, and all that stuff. Like the whole,
JWoww. We had JWoww.
Yeah, JWoww. I'm sorry. That's right. Snooki was WrestleMania. How could I forget which Jersey Shore stars went where?
Yep. John Morrison and Dolph had basically a highlighter.
Yeah.
So Jackson Callens 499 saying random Lars Sullivan lost cause, maybe Retribution. Where do you see him if he returns? Good night. Thank you, Jackson. I think Lars and Retribution actually would make a lot of sense.
He would have been good in Retribution, actually. Because, again, it's still hard for me for a couple of the characters to have these masks on and to be talking with different voices and stuff. I'm like, no, dude, you're the guy I just saw, Dominic, on NXT. You know what I mean?
This is kind of weird, but Retribution, if it had been Lars Sullivan, Forgotten Sons, like these guys that had real reasons that they weren't on TV and they turned it around into a kayfabe explanation, that could have been really effective.
Especially Lars Sullivan. Been jerked over by this company time and time again when he was supposed to get a main event push multiple times, you know?
I am Air Buck 99, making my dreams come true, saying first time watcher, long time super chatter. Thank you, I am Air. So back to the show. I don't know. I mean, like, can we just not talk about
just read it so we get through it?
No, I mean, wait, okay, so they started brawling and it set up a match for later in the night. Dominic versus Murphy. Leah's ringside, yada, yada, yada. Natalya and Lana. Okay, this was a high point. Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. How great did they look together as a tag team?
Wait, why you say it that way? Justin?
Well, several problems I have. First off.
Several
problems.
You don't think they physically look like a good tag team?
No, this is nothing against them. Here's my problem. Oh. We have a draft coming up in a week and a half, but randomly, all of a sudden, here's our newest acquisitions to the Raw roster. Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. Strike one.
That's
second one I have a so like what the F is the point of the draft? If we can just arbitrarily move people.
You can beat them over the head with that. That's a good point. Go ahead.
Second thing, this is a little bit more of a I don't know, Matt. I'll let you judge me on this one. So we have Natty and Lana out there. I always think it's appearance, especially if you're trying to like appeal to like just a casual or random onlooker. You have Natty and Lana out there, two beautiful blondes wearing the Natty Hart, the Hart family pink and black. And then here comes their opponents, two more blondes, and Mandy and Dana, also wearing hot pink as their ring gear. There were 4 ladies out there that all look like they're on the same team fighting against each other, and 2 of them are making their debut on this show. I'm just looking at this, and I'm like, didn't somebody quality control and stop and say, Mandy and Dana, go change your gear? I don't know.
Yeah, so back when I was wrestling, you couldn't get away with that. You'd have to wear different wrestling gear. You could not match their gear. Every once in a while it would happen with talents that always wore the same colors, right? But most talents generally had another set of trunks to reverse the colors around. If it's black with white, they had backup trunks that would be white with black trim. You know, something like that. I'm saying, but that was a real thing in OVW. You could not do that. You had to have different because you want to stand out. That's a good point. This did hurt them. He's right, Glenn. In the form of, if you're debuting this new tag team, did they stand out? I'm as happy. I think many of the fans, though, Justin, will overlook it because I think so many people are fans of them, and they're happy to see them get an opportunity. Do you know what I mean? Even though it's this.
And I am too. I'm a big fan of Mandy and Dana.
Especially Dana.
Dana has worked her ass off to get better.
Yes, she has.
And so I get frustrated because like it's not like Natty and Lana wear different colors every week and they just settled on pink. I mean, Natty's wearing the Hart family colors, which is
you're
pink.
Correct.
I agree.
We get it.
She never wears anything different. And then why would you send these two? I just looked at it. 4 blondes all wearing pink, and I'm supposed to be making a big deal that these 2 new girls are here on Raw. It just
did you
no sense.
not hear the part where I said you're correct?
I know,
and
I know. I've had this pent up frustration with it for 3 hours. I'm getting it out.
You're 100% right, though.
I agree with that. I would also say, if I'm going to play devil's advocate, say it maybe holds back Mandy and Dana's individual properties, given that they do look so in sync tonight with their makeup, with their hair. I mean, they looked like a tag team.
I thought they did.
And it was just great for them, probably not good for their singles ambitions. Not like Dana was on a fast track there. Mandy, I think, was kind of looking for something that helps.
With it, though. Maybe they can do something with it as a tag team.
And to your point, Justin, I feel bad because Lana still with the company, even though her husband left. Natalya, like one of the greatest, has been there, done every ridiculous angle, storyline, gimmick they've given her. And with her and Lana, they're treating them like the island of misfit toys, not really giving them real stuff, and some really questionable losses, not for Lana, but for Natalya. So I agree, like, it's a little weird, but at the same time, I mean, this is what I hate to say with it, is like, I like Lana and Natalya together. They have chemistry, but seriously, when I saw Mandy and Dana tonight, like, they've got it. Like, their combined powers tonight with that look, they look like a superstar tag team. Can they hang? That's the question mark. But I think this has got potential.
I think so. I think Mandy's improved so much, so quickly. Not a lot of people give her props.
Yeah. Mandy, I mean, this is kind of a stretch maybe, but Mandy, with her look and the way that she's advanced, like, I really feel like she has that potential to be.
She definitely does. Absolutely, she does. Yes, the next Trish Stratus.
Trish. Oh, I was gonna say the Trish. Exactly, the Trish. She has that Trish factor. Yep,
I think this could be good. So of course they won this match tonight, and they gave a backstage interview after, talked about maybe competing more as a team. So it looks like they're going someplace with this. Quickly, Tyler, $3.99 Titans versus Steelers this week. LaBar, #Tighten up.
I'm not a Steelers fan, Tyler. If you're a regular here, you know that. Yeah, I live in Pittsburgh, but I'm a Washington football fan.
Hang on.
So let's talk about what happened after. Oh, this Aleister Black promo.
Ugh. Yeah. Well, the promo's fine, but then go on. Go ahead with the promo. Go ahead.
Now that he comes out to the ring to face Kevin Owens, he's got new music. He's got a standard entrance. Kevin Owens won this by DQ because Black got in the face of the referee and swinging wildly, hit the referee. I mean, I don't know. Like, I want to like this feud. I want something good for Aleister Black. I don't know that this is helping them as much as we'd hoped. This would advance both of them.
Listen, they booked themselves in a corner again, okay, where they put two talents that desperately need wins against each other. And the best part, the one that beats the other gets no more over for that victory. Mm-hmm. Do you see what I'm saying? It makes, I don't know.
And how many weeks on this podcast have I said I was annoyed how when Black would come out, they'd bypass him. He'd run out and attack, whatever. So then finally, Kevin Owens comes to the ring. They go to commercial.
There's his
Up next,
chance.
He vs. Black. I was hooked to the TV because I was ready to see my entrance that I haven't seen in
Mhm.
5 months.
Yep.
And I get new music, which I understand there's a legal ramification going on with WWE and the people that used to do their music. So I get the change in music.
I don't fix it. Continue.
Nonetheless, you can have different music, but give me the gimmick, give me the aesthetic of him rising up. You're in the Thunderdome where you can make it look bananas.
So cool.
And he just comes out like he's create a wrestler generic number 3 on the WWE video game
with a dope eye patch.
with a dope. I like way to take his fastball away. Like what I mean that like you can judge a talent so quickly just by the entrance. That can get that you can make up your mind.
Dope eye patch sounds like a member of the Insane Clown Posse. Like
No, dopey eye patch.
But yeah, I mean, just take away his fastball. Make him be like everybody else. He comes out just like everybody else. Great job.
I agree. You're right. You're right.
Jason Smith, $2 saying, gotta love the $2 cover at Club Rubargan. Thanks. I don't know. Oh, I got it.
We don't charge it.
Rubargan.
That's Raj. I don't do that.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the chats. Like, here's the deal. Let me just real talk with the people here. The super chats help fund this podcast. Raj Giri pays us to do this podcast. The super chats help offset along that with the advertising. You're giving us money, and I look at the chat room all the time. If I just reacted to the chat room, we would never get through this podcast. With the super chats, if you gave money to this podcast, I want to recognize you. I want to read what you have to say. I try and bring up other stuff from the chat room.
You do that all the time.
I know it's tough though, and I appreciate people hanging with us because this has changed the podcast and made it a little more difficult.
So, question: why not, guys? Just like all you guys that write me on Twitter, I always write back to you generally. You know,
Well, I think people
Glenn
they like
does
watching the show. I think people like when you're watching the show. Oh, they said my name. They talked about. They answered my question, or they have something to add. And Matt, here's the ultimate compliment. I'm sorry.
Sorry, your favorite.
My favorite podcasts are the ones I feel like I'm hanging out with friends, and I think the chance to participate in that and crack wise with us is something that people want to participate in.
For the love of God, stop saying crack wise. You sound like my dad. When I used to smart aleck him. How about that? Smart aleck. But that's true. But like you said, we wouldn't be able to get through the show if we read every single comment. That's impossible, obviously. So my question is, why not, tweet? I pretty much write almost everybody back, generally speaking. I do.
Yeah.
I think you do. I think Justin, I'm sure does.
I've got DMs going on like Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter.
So if you don't want to spend your money on a super chat, and I know it's not in the moment when we're talking about it, but unfortunately, this shit show is seared in my head. So guess what? I'm good for another 24 hours. Just reach out to me on Twitter. I'll answer your questions.
And here's the other weird wrinkle that you explain to people how the sausage is made. If I don't get to a super chat within a certain amount of time, it scrolls off the screen. So I have to hold the chat paused until I get to the super chats, or I can't even see the regular chat. And this is just a bug or a lack of a feature in StreamYard that we use to broadcast this. I've tweeted to StreamYard or sent them emails. I said, can you just make a separate tab where it holds all the super chats so I don't lose them? And that does not seem to be a priority for them. So please bear with us. Just wanted to let people peek behind the curtain.
It's a shame because StreamYard, the setup of this is much better than the other ones we've used. But for that part sucks. So maybe we can do another,
Justin Lopez, $5 saying I was relieved they didn't take away Rude's theme too because CFO did that as well.
Oh, really? Interesting. Good for Justin Lopez. I have a feeling like you're an inside scoop person at WWE. Seriously. You see his comments? Like, he writes up good shit, too, on top of it. Like, he has good angles, and he drops news on us where I'm like, I don't even know that.
Yeah. Luke He-Man, 549. They turn these exciting NXT stars into boring and random wrestlers every time. Love from Germany.
He's right.
Oh, it's unfortunate. So back to the show, this triple threat match, R-Truth retained the 24/7 title over Drew Gulak and Akira Tozawa.
Oh, thank God. I was worried about this one. I was worried R-Truth was going to lose it. I really was.
When is Little Jimmy going to win the 24/7 championship?
I'll take that. Little Jimmy's way more over than these three talents. With me.
Yes.
Pay attention to the show, Glenn.
I'm paying attention. I'm just reading through everything.
Alright.
Dominic Mysterio versus Murphy. If you didn't get enough of this before, what about them one-on-one, but with Aaliyah distracting, pleading with Dominic? This was like West Side Story. I was expecting people to start snapping and singing and dancing.
Oh, God. At least half of our audience doesn't get that. At least, I'm predicting. That was a great reference. Yeah, Dominic's getting better. That's all I got.
Dominic's great. Dominic is better than this storyline.
Dominic is he's impressive. He's getting better and better. That's the way I watch his matches. I watch it as a wrestler, as a coach, that coach talents as well. And I like watching him because he improves every time he goes out there.
I'm kind of surprised with Dominic that he's I mean, I don't know about you guys. I kind of thought that like we would get to the payoff of like a SummerSlam, and then he'd be gone. Like,
me too.
You know what? Maybe it's an audible because they are dealing with not having some talents as we've talked about because of real life stuff. He's kind of feels like he's ingrained as a regular part of the roster at this point.
Doesn't he? Yeah. That's crazy.
But if I'm him,
good for him.
Get him away from his family.
Yeah, they eventually will, I hope. And like I told you, the inevitable will be he will be sent to NXT. He will, because there's still stuff he needs to get trained and learn. There still is. Maybe he is in the NXT or he's at the Performance Center.
Well,
working out with the other talents and the coaches for all we know. I should ask that question, actually. I'd be interested in that answer.
That would be interesting to know.
Because if he is doing that, that's no different when they brought Brock up early. Hell, when they brought me up early, one of the promises was you'll be on all the house shows. That's where you're going to keep learning. I've never been a heel before, guys. I just want to throw that out there. Might be important information. And it was, don't worry, you'll be married to like Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, John Cena, on these house show loops that I would have no choice but to improve at a rapid pace faster than I would in OVW. So maybe that's the same thing with Dominic here. That they're not doing house shows, but maybe they have him at the Performance Center working out with the top talents there and improving because he has gotten so much better.
It's possible. Well, tonight, the distraction of his sister pleading with him to stop beating up Murphy because he's not like Rollins. He's not bad. You don't understand. That distracted Dominic for Murphy to get the win. And then Dominic beat the crap out of him with the kendo stick.
And what about the sister?
She was begging him to stop. Please stop hurting him.
No, but when he got rolled up and he lost because of his sister's distraction, what was his sister's reaction?
Oh, I don't
know. So he got rolled up and lost, and then right after the fact, Dominic then started beating the hell out of Murphy with this kendo stick, and so that's when she was like, stop.
Yeah, yes, but I wish they shot her, and I think I may have missed it, of what her reaction is, because it would have been very telling if she like celebrated or smiled or anything like that when he got rolled up for the 3.
Yeah, no, she didn't celebrate. He immediately, it was 1, 2, 3, and then he immediately went on the offensive of beating the hell out of Murphy with the stick, and she just kept trying to stop him. So she was still trying to aid Murphy, saying like, stop hitting him.
Okay.
Calculon, $1.99. This is poignant. I have a hard time following who's being pushed.
Because Calculon, none of them are. None of them Roman Reigns is. Deservedly so.
It's Roman and Drew and then everyone else.
Drew won me over at the match last night, the pay-per-view, a little bit.
Actually, even though Drew's champ, I feel like Randy Orton's still more
top guy.
Remember when the first Batman movie came out and Jack Nicholson had top billing over Michael Keaton?
Sure.
It's very similar. Very similar.
Okay, it is, but that's what happens when you're wrestling against a talent that's a first ballot Hall of Famer and has been doing this as a multi-time champion, 14-time champion, right? That's supposed to be that way. This is a situation in which the belt is supposed to make the talent, not the talent makes the title. I'll argue. You see what I'm saying? That's why when people were talking about what's going to happen when they go back to fan arenas with fans again and doing house shows, there was a quick debate on, well, shit, they may very well put the title back on Randy to start drawing houses again.
Yeah.
Because he's more established. But I think Drew's done a great job for what he's been asked, in my opinion.
Brad Swint $9.99. Raj Giri just hears a cash register go off.
Wow.
Saying Glenn with great promos and props. Justin making sure he doesn't get colored down low. Matt being the blueprint, keeping everyone in line. Sam somewhere saying, buddy, what a great worker, but better human. Wait, does Sam really say that about people? Wait, really?
Brad Swint, thank you for paying attention to my antics on Friday Night SmackDown coverage. Thank you.
Wait, did he actually say he's a great worker, but a better human being?
No, he's paying homage to my hilarity that is my Sam Adams impersonations.
Luke Keyman is saying, I swear Justin Lopez has already dropped more than $1,000 in US in the chat here. He has to be Raj in disguise sending himself money.
Oh, damn. So wait, what's his name? Justin Lopez is going to strike back and pay money to do it. No way, G. It's not me.
So what? Again, Adam Pearce is the acting GM because Dolph Ziggler talking to him about the answer to Drew McIntyre's open challenge in the main event tonight.
He is the acting general manager. I agree.
The Hurt Business faced Mustafa Ali teaming with Apollo Crews and Ricochet tonight.
Mm-hmm.
The lights went down. We saw Retribution logos during this match. That was their cameo. And Mustafa Ali, Ricochet, and Apollo Crews ended up winning with Ali hitting the 450 on MVP for the pin and the win. Good to see Mustafa get a win, always.
It always is. But can I just say something? Like, don't you think Kevin Dunn would be fired by now? Like, for real. Seriously. Like, the fact that they've not locked the door to their, their production truck yet is mind-boggling to me. Because we're supposed to assume that they're in the, truck, the production truck, saying, like, with a gun to the head or something, saying, put our logos out there right now or else. And we're all supposed to, like, buy this. Like, that they've taken over the production truck and like, the lights going on and off and whatnot. They're not sitting there next to a light switch doing it, folks. It's happening from the production truck.
Matt, you just don't understand. Retribution.
I'm sorry.
Let me explain it to you.
Please.
Retribution is under contract with WWE, and in their contract that they had very wisely negotiated, they have some PTO vacation days. So they're on vacation, but they still get to make certain contractual demands to have their logos popped up at certain times.
That wasn't half bad, Justin.
Anthony Wise said the hacker. And wait, and Mustafa Ali was in this match.
Aha!
He was the one that was rumored to be the hacker.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go. We also got a video package on Retribution tonight in lieu of them being there in person. But then the title match, Drew McIntyre put his
Sorry.
Now, do you think that's discretionary time off, or does it have to be vacation or sick days?
It does not count. It does not count bereavement or jury duty. It only counts.
Drew McIntyre put his WWE Championship on the line to an open challenge. Dolph Ziggler comes out, and McIntyre reminds him he's not eligible because it had to be someone who's never faced Drew for the championship before. And instead, we got a returning Robert Roode, thank God, with his original music. No
great.
new theme.
I was
coming
excited.
out in a robe, getting the big entrance. And this was a really competitive match. This went for a good 15, almost 20 minutes, but ultimately Drew McIntyre did win. What did you think of Bobby's return tonight?
That he proved it once again for the 1 millionth. That's right, folks. 1 millionth time that he is a main event talent. And I'm begging them to start booking him like it. He does it all. His promos are strong. He's great in the ring. He's got a good look. He's always in shape. He's not super diminutive and looks like one of these cruiserweights or these kids that should be changing my oil. He looks like somebody who could kick your ass, and he looks like a star on top of it. He's got a dope entrance, too. I don't know. I hope that they do more with him this time. But don't stick him in tag teams. Let him be the single star that he was destined to be. And he proved it already. And you can say TNA is not the same as WWE. Well, no crap. Everybody knows that. But he had an opportunity to be the heavyweight champion there. I encourage folks to go back on YouTube and watch it. He did an amazing job as world champion with TNA. Everyone always thought James Storm was the bigger star between the two. Everybody. And then when they both had opportunities, James is one of my best friends, so I don't say this lightly. But Bobby shined more. He did. He's the whole, for me, he's the whole package. He's the whole package.
I mean, look, this was first of all, good to see, Robert Roode back.
Bobby got that chance, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and the match was good. I mean, he's a very good performer. I guess my thing is, I don't know how to say this without sounding ageist, but he's 43. So at this point,
does he look 43 to you though? Does he really look 43?
I think he's one of those guys that looked in his 30s when he was in high school.
I
thick facial hair and stuff.
See, to me, I don't get that. To me, I get him in his 30s still when I watch him. I really do.
I guess my question is what do I really expect the company to do with him at this point? They've disappointed me to an extent.
That's why nobody bought the fact that he was going to win tonight because of how they previously booked these talents. I agree with that.
Well, and also it also doesn't help. No matter, look, freaking a little exaggeration here. I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin could have came down for the open challenge. They started the night with Drew having an interaction with Randy. Randy saying, even though I lost, I'm going to get another title shot. And so then they segue right from that into Drew giving this open challenge. So right there, they're telling you Drew and Randy are not done. So
Hell in a Cell.
Of course they're not
there's
done.
no so even if Stone Cold freaking Steve Austin comes down the ring for this open challenge,
coming out to win, right?
Exactly.
But let me posit this. Why didn't, if they want to give Robert Roode a little more credibility and keep him for another week or two at that main event level, championship level, why didn't Dolph, who was ringside, cause a DQ so we did not have Bobby Roode lose clean on his return match after being gone for 6 months?
That would have been good. I'd have no problem with that.
That's the part that, they could have just kept. They could have kept. We'll never know.
No, they gave us 15 minutes of a Bobby Roode push. 15 minutes.
And it's over now.
It came and went.
And Fun Times with Games Buck 99 saying
it was there.
Being short, we have to change your oil, Matt. Let me just say, I have seen some scary, sketchy dudes changing oil at a mechanic shop. Strangely, always men. I don't think I've ever had a woman change my oil at the mechanics, which is weird. But you have some sketchy people that would probably be competitive in a wrestling ring changing oil.
There you go.
There you have it. God, I haven't had an oil change in over a year now. Don't even know when the next time that's going to happen. Amazing. How often do you change your oil, Matt? Are you an every 3,000 miles guy?
That's why they call him the best car guy in the business, folks. Yes, actually, I just did it this past weekend. How about that?
You change your own?
Yeah, of course.
There you go.
4,000 miles. If you're using the right oil,
dad,
4,000.
I could hear his voice in heaven screaming at me if I go get it taken in. Seriously, he put it in me since in my head since probably I was 10, helping him with his.
You can go every
the money.
4,000 miles. You don't do the 3.
I just put more oil in for a year and then I take it in.
That was outstanding information you just shared.
No, 3 is a
really trying to get this shit in.
3 is a marketing gimmick. 4,000 is where you need to be in it.
Unless you're me, who has ceased 2 car engines in my lifetime.
Wow.
Terrible. I feel like the worst kid on the planet. I did it to my poor parents. They didn't have much money, and they gave me one of their they gave me their car that they were about to sell. Instead of selling it, they gave it to me for when I went away to college, and I did not know it needed. I couldn't the odometer thing was broken on it, so I didn't know it needed an oil change. And I kept driving on it from New Jersey back and forth to Connecticut until eventually it literally broke down. I had to call my dad at 3 a.m. to come get me halfway between New Jersey and Connecticut. You can imagine what that car ride on the way home was like. I just ruined their vehicle. I ruined their engine, and I felt like the biggest piece of crap ever.
Oh, I've got one worse. This is my Chunk and Goonies confession of the terrible things I've done.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was 16 and started driving my mom's car, and I was supposed to be home by midnight, and I left early with a friend, and we're like, let's drive to Reno. Reno's 4 hours from where we are. And So we did that, and then we're like hauling ass to make it back through a rod in the engine of my mom's car that she needed for the next morning to like go and commute to work. Felt so terrible for doing this.
Oh my God.
It was just like, yeah, that's like the worst thing that I've ever done. Or definitely ever. I feel bad. That's why I still apologize to my mom for that. That still comes up again and again. Anyhow, it's starting to resemble therapy here. Let's talk about the creepy janitor.
We're not done with the show?
We've got to talk about let's talk the last segment.
Final 2 minutes.
The janitor. Matt, you put it over so much at the start of the show. The creepy janitor and Randy Orton taking off his mask before going into a room with people, putting on his night vision goggles, turning off the lights, and then it's like a freaking Bugs Bunny cartoon, sound effects by Acme going off as he beat down all the legends.
This was like Call of Duty, is what it was. Or Jim Clancy, what was that video game when you go in the night mode? Seriously, I don't know. This wasn't a huge hit for me. I thought it was lame.
I guess I liked it, but I liked it from the standpoint of what was on paper. On paper, Orton as the janitor, and earlier the Hurt Business walked to the ring backstage. MVP threw a water bottle at a janitor, which I even said, like, that's weird. Like, that's a janitor with that doesn't look like a normal backstage extra. So I mean, they tried, and on paper,
do you really think Randy Orton would have taken a bottle thrown at him?
Well, but yes, because he's in disguise because he has a mission that he wants to accomplish. No, I'm dead serious.
Do you hear yourself?
Yes, he has a mission. He's trying to get to the Legends Lounge.
Don't say this on the Greca show when you're on there.
Thank you, man.
Omit this part.
Mayday Marvel wants to know, could you guys just do a story time podcast? Sure, you all have some classics. The Patreon. Let's bring that back.
We need to bring it back, but Justin was not finished. We cut him off.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, look, on paper, the thought of Orton's in disguise, mask is the status quo, so it's an easy disguise. The idea of I'm going to go in here to these 4 legends.
We don't need it explained.
On paper, it's sinister.
You act like
I love at 12:30 in the morning. Justin wants to break this down for Matt. Sure,
Glenn, he's breaking this down like we're talking about like either Pythagorean theorem, splitting atoms, or recreating nuclear fission here. We're talking about Randy Orton being dressed as a janitor the whole night. I still don't buy that. Yeah. Come on, this is Randy Orton. This is like he has the shortest attention span.
He's a tall janitor. I get it.
There's no way he could go the whole night like that. On paper, the idea is sinister. Night vision goggles. Bro. You have no idea what I'm gonna do to you. I understand the sound effects were a little bit cartoonish. I get it. So the most sadistic part about what he did, Glenn covered earlier, the fact that took the mask off walking into the room. That was the most sadistic thing he did.
I mean, it's terrible. I'm going to go into an enclosed space and breathe on you. Oh my God. COVID. I have nightmares about that.
I'm going to give you all COVID.
But I did like they had him in the backstage interaction between Mustafa and the Hurt Business earlier. I like he was in the background of that shot.
Right.
It would have been cooler, but they wouldn't have done it. They'd be like, okay, now Randy, here you are taking out the recycling. Now here you are sorting out the paper from the plastic.
He could have won. He could have won the 24/7 title in disguise.
But the attention to detail, yes, we got to give him props for that. Of the detail involved in this, I'll give them that. But again, the payoff with the nighttime goggles. Come on, man.
Do you think he was method today, Justin? That Randy was like, I'm actually going to do janitorial work for the entire day to get in the headspace of my character.
He's impressed with Randy's acting. Leave him alone.
Sources tell me he cleaned up a catering. He cleaned up a catering to get in the zone.
I almost bought that.
Mucked the toilets, did the whole thing.
Justin, do you have sources with WWE or AEW?
I have none.
No.
I throw darts against the wall.
No, I'm being serious. I'm not trying to be sarcastic.
Scoops LaBar.
Do you? You're allowed to say yes or no. You don't have to say who they are.
Well,
a journalist protects their sources, man.
When I was a wrestler, I used to like finger every, like I'd like, it's you. You're the stooge. I'd walk right up to him. I'm like, I know it's you. I'm like, you haven't been on TV like in 6 months, and yet The internet's clamoring for you to all of a sudden come back. It's you.
That would have been a great character, Matt. That like you, if you go back to wrestling now, just think about the things you could do as a heel.
Bro, I used to do this in the locker room all the time. Everyone used to pop for it.
Like, just imagine you're facing Dolph Ziggler and you could be like, Dolph, I don't know. Tonight's the start of a big push for you. You know, that's what the sources are saying.
Call them stooges.
Okay.
I'll say this. The best sources are not the wrestlers.
No, it's the underneath.
They're the janitors.
It's the underneath talent that wants a little limelight on that side.
No. That's the worst. Because you're right. Because all they're going to do is try to feed you their agenda.
Good stuff about them.
Wrestlers are the worst sources.
So listen. Hey, listen, Justin. It's me, Wrestler A. And tonight, Kurt Angle is going to drop the title to AJ Styles at TNA. Oh, by the way, do me a huge favor. Put an asterisk underneath that match. You know it's probably going to be a 5-star match. That they really need to see Suicide back.
Nope.
Please.
Wrestlers are the worst sources. There are much better jobs and people that are the better sources. Wrestlers are the worst for everything that Matt is making fun of. Wrestlers are the worst.
I'm telling you, when I was a TNA, man, other than everyone used to blame poor Jeremy all the time, Borash.
Oh.
They used to think it was him a lot.
Borash is he was like TNA's version of like what Paul Heyman is. It's no secret. Paul Heyman's like the guy. Like you read a story on the internet of Paul Heyman is void of any blame. And, I wonder who Paul just talked to. And
Yep.
Look, I used to work for WrestleZone, and WrestleZone used to be owned by the same company that owned Paul Heyman's website at one point in time. I mean, go figure that the frick out. I mean,
I used to watch WrestleZone back in the day.
Back when WrestleZone at the one point when it was owned by Crave Media, they also owned. They were also worth the Heyman's Hustle website.
Heyman's Hustle. I used to get my scoops there.
Yeah, and like so,
they're in Wrestling Inc.
Put 2 and 2 together of like.
Also, I also used to like ProWrestling.net. Jason over there.
Powell,
I think
Jason
he does a good job. At least he did when I was still wrestling.
Well, Matt, you and I first met when I was working with WrestleZone.
I think yes.
Like a decade ago.
Yes. No, you're correct.
It was Dominic. It was Dominic's roast.
Yes.
Dominic the New G.
Yes.
Here in Pittsburgh.
Oh my God. I was just nodding my head yes, thinking we did a chair shot reality on that show or something.
No,
it was Dominic. Yes,
it was Dominic the New G. No, yeah, you and I talked about chair shot, and you were very I'm dead serious. You were very complimentary about it, but no, you and I met doing the roast.
I was a fan of the show.
We got one news story to get to, but before that, Leon's Duncan $5 super chat saying, "Just got off work. What did I miss tonight? Oh, we'll go back to the start of the show. Clearly,
Leon's you're out of your mind. No.
Leon's
There's not a super chat on the planet that will have us recover this again. No way.
Also telling me that Buffy is his all-time favorite show, and I should really give it a chance. Angel's also great. I do love the musical episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I like that one Hush the Silent episode. Those two I like. I just, for some reason, just never clicked for me. Don't know why.
There's like 7 jokes to unpack there. I'm going to let them slide. I'm not going to say a word. Continue.
Anyhow,
what's the cue?
Of course you love the musical, Glenn.
What's wrong with music? We've talked about Grease 2 on this podcast.
Okay, we really? Okay, we need to clarify this. Do we? Because
Yes.
Grease is probably one of my all-time favorites. Is it considered? Do we consider that a musical though? The actual movie?
Yes.
We definitely do.
When and that's the Buffy musical episode, is there's a spell, so people start singing their thoughts and feelings. That's what a musical is. They're expressing themselves through song to advance
Grease specifically.
Yes, Grease is like
There's a lot of singing
50%
in it.
music, but it moves along the plot.
All
It's
right,
not
I take it back because I like Grease, so fine.
Yes. I'm just saying a musical is just something where the music advances the plot. Anyhow, RVD done with Impact.
Oh no, is he?
Yeah. So the 2 news stories we've already kind of touched on different ways. Retribution, at least the 5 core members. Obviously, you did not see them tonight. Didn't see them last night at Clash. It seems as there's been a trickle down effect in WWE. At least one or a few positive cases of COVID, which then trickles down to let's precautionary keep people away. All 5 of them are victims of that. So Retribution probably in quarantine as they wear their masks for the next couple of weeks. So you're not going to see them much. And then over on Impact Wrestling, RVD, he's done with them. There's not much more to this other than it had kind of been like from what we understand, he did an interview with us at Wrestling Inc. a few weeks ago. He's kind of been on some short-term agreements. This one's done with, and he and Katie Forbes appear to be done with them. He did speak to another podcast as well, where he kind of acknowledged that there's some other WWE projects he's been working with. I'm guessing, interviews and stuff for the network that haven't been revealed yet. So RVD, for all intents and purposes, is a free agent. So there you go.
There you go. So, folks, Wednesday night, it's going to be Matt Morgan, Justin LaBar, America's Sweetheart, Sam Adonis. And I'll be back Friday with Raj. Justin, are you on Friday? You're off Friday?
I'm not here Friday.
Maybe Raj is here. Maybe he's not. But Matt Morgan, I'm going to see you Friday night. It's going to be exciting.
Matt, I'll see you Wednesday. Look forward to it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, until then, folks, he's at BP Matt Morgan. He's at Justin LaBar, Matt Glenn Rubenstein. Follow us all. And we'll catch you back here next time on the Wrestling Inc. podcast.
Bye, guys.